I'm going to take everybody back to May 5th, 2025. You'd have to say a day that perhaps transformed the New York Islanders franchise. They win the draft lottery. That enables them to take Matthew Schaefer first overall, and what a rookie season this kid has had. You look at the most points in the first 30 games for an 18-year-old defenseman all time. Only Phil Housley more points than him. He's ahead of Ray Bourque there. We're going to take a closer look right now as we go on the ice. Powered by Verizon. Schaefer, right now second, tied for second among rookies, 8 goals. Leads all rookies in ice time. Talented, poised, you would say franchise-changing type player?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a player that didn't play a lot of hockey last year, Liam, so he should be fresh and well-rested. But 100%, his ability to control the game and play with pace and speed, this is not the same New York Islanders team that we've seen for the last couple of years. Yes, Patrick was the difference maker behind the bench, but he has the tools now to play the style of hockey he's looking for. Matt Barzal has been outstanding. Bo Horvat's been good, but it starts with Schaefer. Schaefer's a guy that commands respect from the back of the blue line, and he really ignites that offense in that first pass.
He's injected so much life in this lineup, so solid defensively. He's making those little plays. And really, like, since he's came in, it kind of reminds me of Lane Hudson, the way he's providing offense from the back end, right? He's really a driving force. And I just feel like going back the last few years, the Islanders have been so boring and painful to watch, where they look like a completely different team now with him on the back end, lugging the mail from the defensive zone to the offensive zone, his forwards entrusting him. And that's why everything offensively has been way more impressive this season for the Islanders.
Are you saying the Islanders are exciting?
I think I'm all in on the Islanders after getting Schaefer. The way that Barzal's playing and Horvat, they got a great 1-2 punch, and Hank.
Yeah, so far you only talked about the skill, but you also have to mention his confidence. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the next generation of players. They arrive in this league now with the feeling of, I belong here, I should be here, I should play a big role here. You remember, if we go back 15, 20 years and more, those first couple of years, a lot of players, you try to feel it out a little bit. Now you have these young players come into the league, and they almost, I'm not going to say demand, but they own that role. They're ready for it early because in their heads, they feel like they belong. And that's sometimes a big battle as a young player when you enter the league, to have that swagger, that confidence. But it looks like he's really giving that to the entire team in a way. You're talking about the excitement of watching this team play now. I think a lot of it is his energy.
But the guys in the room also, Hank, have to allow you to be that guy and give you that same grace and space, too. Years ago, guys would settle down, kid. Your time isn't now. Yeah. Back of the bus.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
You should be seen and not heard. And now the veteran players are allowing players like Schaefer to come in and to be himself, allowing the general manager and the coach, allowing him to do post-game interviews and showing that personality, not feel like he has to dim his light to try to fit into the box.
You know this, too. That's a balancing act. As a veteran player, when you see young players come into the room, because you want them to understand, you need to earn it, right? In terms of how much you get early on. So I'm sure they have some fun conversations with that within the room, right?
As long as your off-ice energy and what you're providing to the room is matching what you're bringing on the ice, because he's not exactly a guy who doesn't come in hot. I mean, we had him on our podcast before the season started. He is just full of life and really not the guy to keep quiet in a locker room. So, of course, as a rookie, you got to pick your time and space, but you have to imagine this group of guys have embraced him just because of what he's provided their team, and they care more about what's going on the ice and how they're producing. And really, without him, like, I use Lane Hudson as the comparable, but I don't think we've seen an impact from a defenseman on a team since Cale Makar came in the league. I don't think he's Cale Makar. That's a once-in-a-lifetime type defenseman.
Cale was also older when he came in, though.
He was a lot older off of university, but as far as an 18-year-old defenseman making an impact the way he has, it's generational.
I want to get quickly too. Like Matt Martin living with him, I'm sure he's able to allow the kid and help him navigate the do's and don'ts of the locker room too.
I do want to get to Sorokin because he's obviously key to this team, but I have to ask just quickly one more thing on Schaefer. 22.5 minutes per game he's logging. Since Romanov has been injured, 25-21. It's a lot for a guy who turned 18 right before this season. Do you worry about it long-term, Hank? Just this year long-term.
I think the great thing with him as a player, his mobility, the way he skates, it's kind of effortless. So even if he eats a lot of minutes every game, I do think that he comes off the ice and like, okay, I'm fine. I can go back out there. You see some guys, they're really you have to work so hard to keep the speed up, to keep that movement. For him, it just looks more effortless. So maybe that way he's able to save some energy. But yeah, that's a lot of minutes to eat when you're that young and new in the league.
He's also 18 too. I mean, how many times you're 18, 19, 20 years old, just lace the gear up and you're out there and play, you get 34, 35 years old. It becomes a lot tougher. Massage table, hot tub, cold tub. So being that age certainly helps him be able to recover and respond fairly quickly those high minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts that he's got Patrick Waugh as a coach. When he came in, they didn't put the governor on him. He was a dog, and they allowed him to be who he was. Take the reins off and let him run. And the thing is it depends if he's going to be on the Olympic team. If he ends up not making it, I don't know what's going to happen. At least he's going to be able to get that pocket of rest to go into the second half of that season for the push for playoffs, because as it sits right now, this is a team I would really like to see sneak in